The hall was silent. Cold blue lights shined from the ceiling of the alien auction center. Creatures from different galaxies sat in tall chairs. Staring at the glass cage in the middle. Inside the cage stood a human girl. She looked perfect. Her skin was smooth, her eyes sharp. She didn't look afraid. She didn't even blink. Her voice echoed through the hall. "My body is perfect," she said slowly. "You can have me for food." No one answered. A long alien with 4 arms scratched his chin. A jelly-like creature blinked its glowing eyes. A robot judge pressed a button. A deep voice spoke through the speakers. "Human specimen, female, class of meat quality. Bid starts." Now, still, no one raised a hand. They had eaten many humans before. There was nothing new in this girl, but something felt different. Her calm voice, her sharp gaze, it made them hesitate. The girl looked around, still standing straight. She spoke again. "No diseases, no modifications. My brain is strong. You will enjoy me." Still, silence. Then a sound came from the back of the hall. Click. A figure walked forward. A man, a human man. Everyone turned. Humans were extinct. Gone for more than 100 years, but this one stood alive. Breathing, wearing a dark coat with silver armor on the chest. His face was half covered by a black mask. His eyes were angry. He stepped into the light. The aliens hissed. "Who are you?" asked the robot judge. The man looked at the girl in the cage. He didn't blink. "I'll take her," he said, "but not for food." Now the room was full of noise, whispers, growls, metal sounds. "You can't claim a specimen. You're human. You're not allowed. Kill him now." But the judge raised his hand. Everyone stopped. "Name?" The robot asked. "Liar," he said, "last soldier of Earth." The girl in the cage looked at him for the first time. Her face didn't show emotion, but her fingers moved slightly like she remembered something. The judge processed the data. "No. Record of living humans named Lair." "I erased myself," he replied. The aliens became restless. They didn't like him, but they were also curious. How had he survived? Why was he here? "You cannot take her," the judge said finally. "Unless you win the bid," Liar smiled. He pressed a button on his wrist. A hologram appeared in the air. It showed a glowing red crystal. The aliens gasped. "Earth core shard?" One whispered. That crystal was a rare power source. One shard could fuel a spaceship for 10 years. The judge nodded. "Accepted. Bid 1. The cage opened slowly. Steam hissed out. The girl stepped forward, but before she reached Lior, an alien jumped down from his seat. "He's lying," the alien growled. "Humans can't be trusted." Others joined him. "Kill them both. Take the girl." The lights turned red. Lior pulled a small gun from his belt. "Run," he said to the girl, but she didn't move. Instead, she looked at the angry aliens. She raised her hand and whispered something strange. A flash of blue light burst from her fingers. The attacking alien froze like time had stopped. Everyone gasped. Ior looked at her, shocked. "What are you?" he asked. She turned to him. "Not just human," she said, "but you already knew that." Guards ran in. Lair grabbed her hand and pulled her close. "We have to move now," he said. She nodded. Together they ran through a side door. As the alarm screamed behind them, outside the auction center, the planet's surface was dark and smoky. Tall alien towers touched the sky. Flying ships passed overhead. Leo led the way through the shadows. The girl followed quietly. After a few minutes, he stopped in an alley. "Why did you say that?" he asked. "That you're not just human?" She looked at him carefully. "Because I'm not. I was made for something more." He didn't understand. But one thing was clear. This girl was not an ordinary clone. She had a secret, and maybe she was the key to saving what was left of Earth. The sky above was black, heavy with smoke. The stars had disappeared behind thick clouds. Red warning lights flashed across the city towers. Sirens screamed through the air. Leo ran fast, pulling the girl by her hand. They had just escaped death. But they were not safe yet. Behind them, 6 alien guards chased with long electric rifles. Metal footsteps echoed on the steel ground. "Faster," Liar said. He looked back. "We don't have much time." The girl ran without fear. Her face was calm. Too calm. I'm not tired, she said. But you are, Liar didn't answer. He knew she was right. His lungs burned, his legs felt weak. But he couldn't stop. Not now. They turned a corner into a narrow alley. The walls were covered in old human graffiti messages from a time when people still had hope. Earth will rise again. We are not meat. Liar stopped beside a sealed door. He entered a code on the panel. Beep, beep, denied. Come on. He whispered behind them. Footsteps were getting closer. The girl stepped forward. She placed her hand on the door. A blue glow came from her fingers. Click. The door opened. Lior looked at her. How did you... No time, she said. They slipped inside. The door closed behind them. Darkness. Only their breathing could be heard. Liar turned on a small flashlight. The room was filled with old tech-broken machines, dusty cables, faded photos of Earth. The girl walked slowly, touching the things as if they were memories. Lior leaned against the wall. His hands were shaking. I've never seen anyone stop. An alien like that, he said. She looked at him. I didn't stop him. I paused him. What does that mean? She sat down. I was designed for control, not violence. Liar stared at her. Who designed you? He asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she looked at a broken mirror on the wall. Her reflection stared back. Why didn't you eat me? She asked softly. Lior was silent. She repeated, You could have taken me. I offered myself. He shook his head. I'm not like them. You're still human. Yes, he said, and we don't eat our own. She tilted her head, curious. No one ever said that before, she whispered. Not even my makers. He sat beside her. I need to know what you are, he said. You're not just a clone. She looked down at her hands. There's something inside me, she said. A code, a signal. It's growing stronger. Suddenly the door behind them shook. Boom, boom. They found us, Lior said, standing up quickly. The girl stood too. I can slow them down, she said. He grabbed her arm. No, we leave together. You should have let me burn, she said quietly. Back in the auction hall, Lior looked into her eyes. I don't leave people behind, she stared at him. For the first time, a flicker of emotion crossed her face. Outside, voices shouted in alien tongues. They were cutting through the door. Lio opened a floor hatch. Down here, he said. They climbed down into the tunnel's old sewage lines used by early rebels. Dark, wet, cold. Lior led with the flashlight. The girl followed, silent like a shadow. After a long walk, they reached an old metal gate. Behind it was a hidden camp. A place no alien had found in years. He opened the gate. A few dirty faces turned. Human survivors. Kids. Fighters. A woman. With a metal leg, Lior raised his hand. They're with me, he said. Pointing to the girl, everyone stared at her. One man whispered, Is she real? She's more than real, Lior said. She's different. A small child walked up to the girl and touched her arm. You're not cold, the child said. The girl looked down. No, she said softly. I'm not cold anymore. And for a moment the camp felt warm. The camp was quiet that night. No one spoke much. People just stared. They stared at her, the girl Lior had brought. The one who wasn't afraid. The one who opened sealed doors with glowing fingers. The one who had offered herself for food. And walked out untouched. Children peeked at her from behind boxes. Fighters watched her with hands near their weapons. Even the elders stayed away, but she didn't seem to care. She sat near the fire. Silent, still, like she didn't belong to time. Lior watched her from a distance. He felt it too, the difference. She wasn't just another human. She was something else. What's her name? Someone asked. Lior shook his head. She never told me. Later that night, screams broke the silence. Help! A boy had touched a piece of alien scrap metal. It exploded with energy. He fell, lifeless, eyes open. No breath, no pulse. People gathered, panicked. He's gone. Cover his eyes. Call the healer. But the girl moved before anyone else could. She walked slowly to the boy's body, kneeled beside him, placed her hand over his heart. Blue light glowed from her palm. Everyone froze. Don't touch him. Someone shouted, She's dangerous! But no one stopped her. She whispered words no one understood. Soft, like wind in a cave. Then the boy gasped. He came back to life. His chest rose. His eyes blinked. I was cold, he whispered. The camp exploded with shock. Some backed away. Some dropped to their knees. Some ran. The girl stood and turned to the crowd. I'm not a god, she said, and I'm not your enemy. One of the fighters stepped forward. Then what are you? She looked around. Finally, she said, I am Project Halea, built in Lab 12, designed to survive extinction. Liar stepped closer. What does that mean? He asked. Survive how? She looked at him. I was made with parts of alien DNA, parts they thought were too strong to put in humans. Why? He asked. To see what would happen, she sighed. To build a perfect copy, a weapon or a tool. Someone behind Liar whispered, a freak. But the girl didn't react. I was not supposed to speak, she said. Not supposed to feel. But something changed when I saw you. Liar stared at her. You're not just a copy, he said. You chose to help that boy. That was real. She nodded. For the first time, she said, I did something that was not in my code. That night, the leaders of the camp met in secret. They were afraid. She's alien tech, one said. She could betray us, said another. She brought someone back from death. That's not human. Liar stood up. She saved the child, he said. She saved me. A woman with half a face looked at him. She could also destroy us. Meanwhile, the girl sat alone outside the camp walls, staring at the stars. She didn't sleep. She didn't need to, but her thoughts were loud. Inside her. Something had awakened. A part of her that wanted more, not just survival, not just silence. She wanted to understand what it meant to be to live to choose. Suddenly, her body TN says ED. She looked up. Footsteps. LIORD sat beside her. You don't have to stay outside. He said, They don't trust me, she replied. Do you blame them? No, she said. If I were them, I wouldn't trust me either. Liar looked at her face, so calm, so still. You're not what they expected. I'm not what I expected, she said. Then she looked at him. I don't know how long I can stay like this, she whispered. Something inside me is changing. What kind of change? He asked. She touched her chest. Something waking up. Far away in an alien command ship orbiting the planet. A machine beeped. Signal detected. Coordinates locked. Target. Halea unit active, the alien general smiled. She's awake, he said. Begin the hunt. The next morning, the camp was tense. People moved silently, eyes low. No laughter. No music. Just cold air and colder hearts. In the center tent, the human resistance leaders sat in a circle. A dusty table stood between them, with an old map of the underground tunnels and alien patrol zones. Liar stood near the edge. They were talking about her again. She's not one of us, said Captain Viaran, the oldest fighter in the camp. She's a weapon, just waiting to be activated. She saved a child, Liar said firmly, and tomorrow she might burn the camp, Viaran replied. How can we know? Liar looked at all of them. She gave us a chance. You're throwing it away. The camp commander, a woman with a scar across her head, leaned forward. What do you believe, Liar? She asked. Truly? Liar paused. I believe she's changing, he said. And not just herself. She's changing us too. Outside. The girl stood near the edge of the cave. Her eyes stared ahead, far past the walls. She didn't blink. A small boy approached her. You're not eating. He said, I don't need to, she replied. Why not? My body makes what it needs. The boy looked confused. Then he smiled. Cool. Then he whispered, Some of the grown-ups say you're scary. She turned her head slowly. Are you scared of me? He shook his head. No, I think you're sad. The girl paused. Her lips moved slowly. Maybe I am, she whispered. That night, Leo checked the camp's defense systems. He walked past guards, rusty motion sensors, and hidden tunnels that led into darkness. He didn't notice the girl behind him until she spoke. You're not ready. He turned fast. What? She pointed toward the western wall. They're coming. Liar's face changed. Who? She didn't blink. The ones who made me. They followed the signal. What signal? She placed a hand over her heart. When I healed the child, they heard it. Leia felt cold. How much time? Not much, she said. You should move the children, the weak, the sick. Leia ran to the command tent. 15 minutes later, alarms rang. Incoming. Outside the cave, the hills were glowing red. Alien ships, 6 of them, fast, loud, deadly. Inside the camp. Panic began. People grabbed weapons. Children cried. The commander looked at the girl. How did you know? I was designed to feel them, she replied. And they are close. Captain Viren stepped forward. If she brought them here, she warned us, Lear snapped. She didn't betray us. She saved us. Viren pointed his gun at her. I don't trust her, and I won't fight beside a bomb. The girl looked into his eyes. You don't have to. She stepped forward and raised her hands. A light shimmered around her fingers. Small symbols floated in the air. What is that? The commander asked. A shield, she said. It will hold for a while. Liar stood beside her. We fight now. Or we die later, he said. The humans took positions. The first alien blast hit the shield. It held. Inside the chaos, one young rebel whispered, She's not human. Another answered, She might be better. The battle had just begun, but hope had returned, in the form of someone who was never meant to feel it. The shield held through the night. Alien blasts cracked against the glowing barrier. Blue sparks lit the cave. But inside the humans stood, strong. For the first time in years, they pushed back. Halea, the girl who wasn't fully human, stood at the center, calm, glowing, still. She didn't speak much. She didn't rest, but she watched. She saw everything. She saw fear in the rebels' eyes. She saw doubt in their hearts, and she saw something else. A lie. By morning, the attack stopped. The aliens pulled back, silent, waiting. The cave grew quiet. Again, but it wasn't peace. It was the beginning of something worse. That afternoon, Liar walked into the meeting tent. The commander and the rebel captains were there, including VRN. He had a small device in his hand. Where did you get that? Liar asked. It was found in her corner, Varen said. A beacon. Liar froze. She doesn't carry tech. She doesn't need it. She did this time, Varen replied. Maybe she doesn't know it's there, or maybe she does. The commander looked tired. She saved us, Liar said. And you're still trying to blame her? The commander didn't reply. Her eyes drifted to a dark corner. A figure stepped out, one of the scouts, tall and thin, with cold eyes. I've spoken to the aliens, he said. The room went silent. What? Liar whispered. They sent a message, the scout continued. They don't want war. They want her back. That's all. Viren stepped forward. If we give her to them, they leave us alone. Liar's fists tightened. You made a deal? No deal yet, said the commander, but we're listening. You can't be serious, Liar said. She's not one of us, Viren snapped. She's the reason we're under attack. She's the reason we're still alive. Liar shouted. In the shadows outside the tent. She heard everything. Halea stood still. No emotion on her face, but inside, something broke. That night, she didn't return to the fire. She walked to the edge of the cliff, where the sky touched the far mountains. She stayed there, silent, like a statue made of starlight. Lior found her. They want to trade you, he said quietly. She didn't turn around. I know. He stepped closer. I'll stop them. She shook her head. No, let them. Liar's voice cracked. What are you saying? If I leave, she said, they live. If I stay, they'll keep fearing me. He walked in front of her. Don't do this. You're not their enemy. No, she said softly. But I'm not their hope either. At midnight, she walked alone into the tunnel, the one that lit out. No one stopped her. No one saw her. Except one. The scout who made the deal waited near the end. You're doing the right thing, he said. She looked at him. I know you planted the beacon, she said. His face twitched. You can't prove that. I don't need to. She walked past him. Tell them I went willingly, she said. They don't need another lie. Outside the cave, an alien ship waited. She stepped inside. Cold lights, metal walls, Silent guards. No chains. No words. Just the hum of engines and the sound of her breath. Back in the camp, Liar woke up to shouting, "She's gone." Someone helped her escape. But he knew the truth. She hadn't escaped. She had surrendered. Vion smiled. "We're safe now." But Leo looked at the empty place by the fire, and he knew. They weren't safe. They were just lost again. The alien ship was silent, not the silence of peace, but the silence before something terrible wakes up. Halea stood in the center of a cold metal room. Her hands were locked behind her, not by chains but by code. Invisible threads in her. Mind held her still. She didn't fight, not yet. Alien scientists circled her, whispering in low clicks and sharp screeches. Their bodies were thin, skin like glass, glowing with green veins. She knew them. They were her creators. One of them leaned close and placed 2 fingers on her forehead. "Unit Halea," it hissed. "You have been returned for final integration." A machine lowered from the ceiling, covered in wires, needles, and blue lights. Halea didn't move. Her voice was calm. "I chose to return?" "Yes," the alien said. "But choice was not part of your programming." They connected her to the machine. Needles slid into her spine. Wires wrapped around her skull. The lights dimmed. And then the download began. Millions of thoughts rushed through her brain. Not hers. There's images of cities destroyed, humans hunted like animals, experiments, failures, pain, then her own creation. Her own body, her own mind being built piece by piece. She saw herself in a glass tube surrounded by shadows. "She will be the bridge," one alien voice echoed. "She will end both sides," said another, and then came the command, "Activate final protocol, remove emotion, remove doubt." But something inside Halea broke, or maybe it was finally being born, because as the lights flashed, as the commands burned through her brain, as her heart slowed, she remembered a child's hand touching hers. She remembered a boy saying she was sad. She remembered Lyra's voice, "You're not a weapon, you're a choice." Her fingers twitched. One eye blinked, then error. Inside the control room, alarms rang. "She's resisting," one alien shouted. "Impossible," screamed another. "We wrote her mind." The screen flashed red. Mind override failed connection, REVRSED, and then she opened her eyes, not blue, not white, but something new, glowing gold. Pulsing with power, she looked at the alien closest to her, and she smiled. "You built me to obey," she whispered, "but I learned to decide." The machine exploded. Power surged through the walls. Aliens flew backward, screaming in shock. Halea floated above the floor now, no longer connected by wires. She was the circuit. She raised one hand. The walls bent. She raised the other. The ship screamed. Then she spoke a word the aliens had never heard. "No." And everything went dark. Meanwhile, far below on Earth, Liar stood outside the cave. He stared at the stars. He felt it, a pull, a vibration in the air. "She's not gone," he whispered. "She's changing." A young girl stepped beside him. "Will she come back?" Lyra looked up. "I think she come back different." High above in the sky, the alien ship broke apart, not with fire, but with light, a new light. The sky tore. Open like paper, above the mountains, clouds turned gold. A wave of soft light rolled across the land. Not fire, not smoke, energy, alive, a signal? A return. Inside the resistance camp, people looked up in silence. Children stopped crying. Guns were lowered. For a long moment there was only stillness. Then she appeared. She floated down like a falling star, her body glowing faintly. Her feet not touching the ground, but this wasn't the same Halea. Her eyes no longer shimmered blue. Now they burned gold, as if 2 small suns had taken root inside. Her skin looked human, but her presence didn't feel like any species they knew. She had returned, but not alone. Something greater was with her now. Liar stepped forward, unsure if it was really her. "Halea?" he whispered. She looked at him, and her voice was soft, but deeper, fuller. "I was Halea," she said. "Now I'm everything they tried to erase." He took one slow step forward. "Do you still remember?" She tilted her head, then smiled gently. "I remember you." And in that moment he knew she was still there, Somewhere inside all that power, alarms began to ring again. Alien ships, larger than before, approached fast from the sky, but this time, no one ran. They waited, because she was back. Commander Viren loaded his rifle, standing beside Lyre. "She's one of them," he said. "But she came back for us. I'll fight with that." The rebels stood, shoulder to shoulder, weapons ready, hearts steady. Then came the voice from the alien ship, blasting across the valley, "Return the unit, or be erased." Halea raised her hand toward the sky. "No," she answered. And with that single word, the final battle began. The aliens rained fire from above, but it never touched the camp. Halea stood like a wall between the humans and the blasts. She absorbed the energy. It lit her veins like rivers of lightning. She stepped forward, not running, not hiding, owning the battlefield. She stretched her hands wide, and for the first time since Earth fell, the skies bent back. Alien ships trembled in mid-air, one by one. Their engines failed. They fell like dying birds, but power has a cost. Her breath grew heavy. Cracks of light began to appear across her skin. Lyre saw it. "Stop," he yelled. "You're burning yourself." She looked at him calmly. "I was made to end things. Let me finish it." "No," he said, running to her side. "You chose something else. You chose to live with us." Tears formed in his eyes. "Come back with me." She touched his hand, and for the first time, she hesitated. High above, the last alien mothership opened its core, a final weapon, a blast big enough to wipe the entire valley. Halea looked at it. She turned to Lio. Smiled. Then said just 2 words, "Protect them." She rose into the air, light pouring from her skin like a dying star. She met the blast head-on. A soundless explosion swallowed the sky. There was no fire. No blood. Just pure white light, and then nothing. The humans waited. Minutes passed, then hours. The sky cleared. And all the ships were gone. They searched for her. For days. No body. No signal. Only silence, but the world had changed. The aliens never came back, and the humans no longer hid. They began to rebuild, and in every new wall they raised, they left a place untouched, a memory for the girl who came from nothing, and gave them everything. Final words, Lyre's voiceover for your YouTube ending scene. They called her a weapon, but she chose to be a shield. They built her to follow, but she learned to lead. She was never meant to survive. But because of her, we all did.